My name is Danica, and today I'm doing the Pride Flag book tag. This tag was created by Common Spence, and I will link his channel down below. You might be thinking, it's July, you're doing this tag late. And to that I say, A, it's always a good time for Pride, and B, in my city we actually celebrate Pride in July, so our Pride Parade isn't until Sunday. I'm also going to be at the Pride festivities as a vendor with my bookstore and doing all queer books there, and I'm very excited about that. So I wanted to try to get into the spirit of Pride. I'm going to the Big Gay Dog Walk tomorrow. That's going to be great. There's also a Pride Roller Derby event that's happening Saturday, and then of course Pride itself. So this is a very queer week that I'm having, and I thought, why not add to that and do this tag? So this tag is modeled on the Pride flag and the meanings that every color has. And the first question is, Red, life. A book with a spirited protagonist totally proud of who they are, someone who gives you life. So I'm going with Ivan Coyote. Tomboy Survival Guide is great, but so are all of their books. I get the impression that you should be picking someone who's like really energetic and bubbly and happy as the protagonist for this question, but it most made me think of Ivan Coyote. They give off this very calm, compassionate vibe in their writing that really is grounded. They really seem like someone who knows who they are and who is also wanting to help other people and reach out to other people and make the world a better place for all of us. So that was who I thought of, someone that it's really an inspiration to me. And then we have Orange Healing, a book that made you as the reader find deeper meaning or catharsis in your own life. So I went with Sexual Fluidity by Lisa Diamond. I have talked about this book in the past. I actually have a whole video about sexual fluidity, but in case you haven't seen it, I am someone who has experienced fluidity in my identity over the years. When I was a kid, I thought I was straight, and then I came out as bisexual in high school, and then I came out as a lesbian, and I identified as lesbian for about 10 years until I got together with my current partner, who is a guy, and I started to ID as bisexual again. And when that happened, it was very confusing to me because I was really attached to that identity and felt super thrown off about what this meant for me and who I was and whether it was a betrayal and what was wrong with me. And reading this book at the right time made me realize that there's nothing wrong with me and that it's actually very common for people to have different degrees of sexual fluidity. And that was something that was really healing to know, that there were other people like me and that there's a name for that. After that is Yellow Sunshine, a book that fills you with so much joy it can brighten even your darkest day. And for that I picked Sugartown by Hazel Newlevant. This is a very small graphic novel that is so cute. It has a bisexual main character who is exploring a polyamorous relationship. I love the art, I love the different body types, I love the just supportive and kind and understanding community. This just makes me so happy to read. Green is Nature, and the question is, a book set out of this world, a reality different to our own. And I went with Space Battle Lunchtime, volumes 1 and 2. This is a middle grade graphic novel duology that I absolutely loved. It's just a reality cooking show set in space with a queer relationship. She falls for another one of the competitors who is also an alien, and it's just really cute and fun, and it made me really happy. I highly recommend that you get both volumes at once and read them back to back because it's really like one story in 2 volumes. And also if you read the first one you can think like, oh, is this subtextual? Are they really in a relationship? And then in the second one they're just making out. Then there's Blue for Peace, a book where one of the characters finds peace with a difficult truth. I picked Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. I was also considering this as my healing catharsis book. Basically, I read this when I was just out of high school. I had had a very long, very tumultuous on-again, off-again relationship with my best friend, my girlfriend, and at the time I felt like nothing would ever be as intense or meaningful as that relationship. And Tipping the Velvet really made me realize that first love is very powerful, but that doesn't mean that it's a great relationship, and that doesn't mean that you can't have a really fulfilling relationship after that. And also that kind of dramatic intensity is not necessarily what you actually want out of a relationship. So I think that Nan in this book kind of finds that and realizes that relationships can be different than what she thought, and they can be a little bit quieter and a little bit kinder, and that was a really good message for me at the time. And lastly, Purple is Spirit, a book that deals with LGBT themes and religion. I feel a little bit silly picking this book, but I had to go with The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Not only is it kind of the obvious choice for purple, it also deals with religion and spirituality. I'm not a religious person, I'm not much of a spiritual person, but I really liked the way that spirituality is portrayed in this book, kind of reclaimed by the characters, finding that spirituality, finding God in nature, and specifically they talk about purple as a spiritual color and a connection with God. So those were my choices for the Pride Flag book tag. I want to thank Common Spence for creating this tag. I'm not going to tag people because I don't know who would want to do it or who hasn't already done it, but if you want to, you should, especially if you are LGBT. I also wanted to thank some of my Patreon supporters. So if you didn't know, I spend most of my time online running the Lesbury, which is a queer woman book blog, as well as the Bi and Lesbian Literature Tumblr, which is its tie-in Tumblr. I also write for Book Riot, and then I do this booktube channel. And if you want to support the work that I do online, you can support me on Patreon, and if you pledge $2 or more a month, you get entered in a monthly giveaway for queer woman books. And I just wanted to thank some of my patrons in this video, especially Ivy Quinn, Mirgan258, and From the Dusty Bookshelf. I really appreciate the support through Patreon because it's meant that I can spend a little bit more time on my online ventures, and thank you for watching.